What have you always wanted to know about Boise State Public Radio? Join us for another round Wednesday, March 19th at Mad Swede Brew Hall in downtown Boise from 6 to 8 p.m. Learn more about our operations, news content, and our service mission. We welcome your questions and look forward to sharing more about what we do here at Boise State Public Radio. More details can be found on our website at boisestatepublicradio.org.
It's Wednesday, March 12th. Thanks for listening to the Connector Idaho Daily News from Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Troy Oppie. This morning, should gun laws at foster homes be loosened? A compromise bill making illegal immigration a crime in the state is headed back to the House. It also faces the threat of a lawsuit if it becomes law. And the city of Twin Falls has sued the State Water Resources Board over a failed water rights deal nearly 2 decades ago. Those stories and more this morning on The Connector. A compromise bill making illegal immigration a crime in Idaho is headed back to the House. James Dawson has more.
The latest version of the bill no longer requires a person convicted of illegal immigration to be deported at the end of their sentence. However, it still lets law enforcement charge someone with the crime of illegal entry if they're being detained or suspected of a separate crime. Republican Senator Phil Hart says any step toward cracking down on illegal immigration must be taken.
At the state level, we have to do what we can do, and we have to make Idaho an undesirable place for people who are here in our country illegally.
Assistant Senate Democratic leader James Ruchte says this is an issue for the federal government to fix, something he says they haven't been doing.
But I'm not sure the solution is for the 50 states to all allow them to just not do their job in this arena.
Ruchte and other critics also worry this bill would lead to racial profiling. If House lawmakers agree to the amendments, the proposal would go to Governor Brad Little's desk. ACLU of Idaho says it will sue should the bill become law. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Idahoans will vote next year on whether to prohibit themselves from legalizing marijuana or other drugs through the ballot initiative process. State senators yesterday passed the proposed constitutional amendment along party lines. Republican Senator Cody Galloway says she recently bought a business in Nevada, a state which legalized recreational marijuana in 2016.
The amount of times my employees are in the hospital with drug-related issues is a totally different ballgame than Idaho. I had no idea how good we had it here.
Debate lasted about 40 minutes. Many Republicans said other states are suffering massive societal and criminal problems after legalizing marijuana. Assistant Senate Democratic leader James Ruchte asked supporters why they don't instead outright ban the drug here in Idaho in the Constitution, as the state already does with gambling.
If you feel that way, I don't know why you're taking such a weak approach to prohibiting marijuana use.
The proposal will appear on the 2026 ballot. It would need a simple majority to pass. At the Capitol, a bill is quickly making its way through the State House that would loosen restrictions on firearms in foster homes. George Prentice tells us more.
Right now, Idaho foster homes have strict requirements when it comes to storing guns.
The rule requires foster parents to store their firearms and their ammunition separately under lock and key.
That is GOP House Representative Judy Boyle on Tuesday speaking before the House Health and Welfare Committee.
So it basically disarms the people who are foster parents. And we have found that it is discouraging a lot of people from becoming foster parents.
The measure that Boyle is promoting is Senate Bill 1034, which would no longer require the separate storage of guns and ammo in a foster home. Opponents, like Democratic State Senator Melissa Wintrow, say the proposed change is a bad idea.
We are talking about kids going through significant and severe trauma. One of the leading causes of death in the United States right now is unintentional accidental death by firearm.
The bill, which has already passed through the Senate, is now heading to the full House, the final stop before it could head to the governor, where it might become law. George Prentice, Boise State Public Radio News.
Former Democratic State Representative Lauren Necochea will continue in her role as leader of the state Democratic Party. Dems announced Necochea was reelected by the state's Central Committee as party leader this past weekend. She's held the role since 2022, succeeding the late Fred Cornforth. Necochea did not run for office again last year, but says her priorities will continue to be strengthening the Democratic Party, working for Idaho families, and standing up to the Trump administration. The city of Twin Falls says it wants its money back after a 17-year-old water rights deal fell apart. KIVI television reports the city has sued the State Water Resources Board over the $10 million it paid the board in 2008 for land in exchange for partial water rights to a natural spring on the Jerome side of the Snake River. The purchase was needed, the board said then, to fend off possible curtailment of water in southern and eastern Idaho. In 2015, the board told the city its settlement wasn't going to work after all. In 2017, the board sold the land with the spring without conveying any water rights or easements to Twin Falls. KIVI reports the city filed suit in district court asking for its $10 million plus interest and fees. It's not clear why the lawsuit took so long to be filed. Both the city and Water Resources Board declined to comment. The Middleton School District will ask voters this May to approve a nearly $20 million bond to build a new elementary school in the fast-growing community. Idaho Ed News reports Middleton is the first school district in the state to put a bond on the May ballot. The district says 2 of its 3 elementary schools are over capacity and using a combined 22 portable classrooms to make up needed space. The 3rd elementary is at 90% capacity. The bond would fund a new school building between Middleton and Star, and attendance lines would be redrawn if a supermajority of voters approve, which has been a tough sell in recent years. Middleton School District is 0 for 5 since it last passed a school bond that paid for the new high school in 2008. District officials, though, say they've pared down the size of this request compared to previous attempts. The proposal would cost taxpayers about $34 each year per $100,000 of taxable home value. The Boise City Council seems ready to make tiny homes a permanent part of city code. The pilot program began in 2023. These are homes less than 400 square feet on wheeled trailers. They're allowed on private property by homeowners, but often owned by the property renters themselves. The pilot included 6 sites chosen from 56 applicants. Occupants reported positive experiences centered around the lower cost of living, said Nikki Olivier Hellenkamp. She's Director of Housing and Homelessness Policy with the City of Boise.
So this could certainly be considered a source of naturally occurring affordable housing where it's the size of the unit that's keeping the price down rather than a deed restriction.
Hellenkamp speaking there with the council last week. The pilot was run through the nonprofit Leap Housing. It included logistical help for property owners who had to install utilities and make other preparations for the tiny homes. Neighbors were surveyed on their experiences as well with the additional units. Feedback was mostly positive, staff told council. A proposal to allow tiny homes on wheels in Boise City Code, much like ADUs, accessory dwelling units, is expected to be part of a broader zoning code update, which will work its way through the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Boise City Council this spring. In sports, Boise State men's basketball senior Tyson Degenhart was named to the All-Mountain West first team for the 3rd straight season. He's the first Bronco to three-peat in the Mountain West. In the school's Big Sky days in the late 80s and 90s, Chris Childs and Tanaka Beard were 3-time All-Big Sky first-teamers. Degenhart, by the way, is 32 points behind Beard for Boise State's all-time scoring record. Fellow Bronco Alvaro Cardenas was named to the All-Mountain West second team. Junior Javen Buchanan was named Mountain West Sixth Man of the Year. Boise State faces San Diego State in the quarterfinals of the Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas tomorrow. That game's at 3:30 Mountain Time. That's your Connector for this Wednesday, March 12th. I'm Troy Oppie. Our news director is Sasha Woodruff. Our digital strategy manager is Lacey Daly. Our general manager is Tom Michael. Mark your calendars. A week from today is another round. It's our meet and greet event. We'll be at the Mad Swede Brew Hall in downtown Boise. You can come on out and say hi. I'll be there. Much of our other staff will be there as well. We'll even buy your first beverage, if you make a small donation, of course, to Boise State Public Radio. There's more details at boisestatepublicradio.org.